Hi everyone, my name is Kennedy. Welcome back. If you're new, hello. Now, I was not even planning on making this video. I have been wanting to focus on this topic for so long, but I haven't got the chance to sit down and talk about it. Tomorrow is my last day of winter break, and I was like, let's at least try to get 2 videos out before break ends. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna discuss the weird and strange thing that happened, stuck for a while, that was, very strange. So, let's begin. The beginning. In 2020, there was a huge and random anime outbreak on TikTok. Everyone on their FYP was getting any kind of anime, that being Haikyuu, of course, or My Hero Academia, even the newer ones like Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, etc. But one of the anime that just randomly started blowing up really fast was Haikyuu, about a group of boys who are on a volleyball team. The main character desperately wants to become this famous volleyball player that everyone just loves and always dreams of and hopes for, but he starts out very small. And to summarize the entire show, it is literally these group of boys going up against other teams in these volleyball tournaments, a big deal to the main cast of the show. Now, you're maybe thinking, how can such a simple show about a group of high school boys playing volleyball suddenly take such a turn and such a twist? Once Haikyuu started becoming more and more popular, it obviously grew a bigger fan base. People were creating these very strange videos that I know you remember and I remember, and we can't forget them because they were freaking weird. We all remember those fake text group chat. They had them for all kinds of different fandoms. As time went on, Haikyuu began to grow a different sort of fan base. It wasn't just, oh, let's make cute little headcanons about the characters. Let's sit down and be like, Shoyo would cuddle you in his bed and make you feel like such a sweetheart. No. Instead, we got a bit more than just some fluff sort of stuff. And no, I'm not just talking about hardcore smut. We were getting yandere headcanons. And not just yandere headcanons, but yandere fanfiction, yandere text stories, yandere imagines, yandere stories. I know kind of ties into fanfiction, but still you know what I mean. And it was not stopping. All of a sudden, everyone was getting on their FYPs. There were videos where people would draw them as if they had blood on them after just beating someone up.
Or people would say things like, Tendo would hardcore be a yandere. You just know that he would sneak into your closet and he would kill you and he would kidnap you and make you feel like a goddess.
And it was just this big thing. No one was really saying anything about it because we loved it. We didn't say anything about it because we didn't hate it. Haikyuu is such an easy plot to go after because it's so simple. Whole story is just the same thing on repeat pretty much. It's just volleyball, volleyball, volleyball. And because of that, it's so easy to tweak the story and make your own horror out of it. Does that make sense? But before we even sit down and take a look at some of this fan fiction, some of this artwork, I want to first start off by talking about why I think this was influenced. The reason why I think we got a switch up so fast from this show was because we were influenced by Stalking. I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Kennedy, do not even bring that up. Do not bring those times back. Stalking was something I'd like to leave in the past. I know. I have the freaking book. I can't erase this from my past. Now, this wasn't even an influence on just Haikyuu. Around the time Stalking came out is when we suddenly were getting a lot more of yandere type of stories. Graphic kidnapping. People were just dying and we were normalizing it. I believe Stalking had a huge impact because not only it came out around the time that Haikyuu was getting very popular, also a lot of people that were watching Haikyuu read Stalking, and because of that, I think we took the two and just combined them. We took this sports anime that we didn't really have much from already and mixed it with something so graphic and horrifying like Stalking. And now you can't even search up Haikyuu without getting something yandere. There's always going to be something that is yandere related when you look up Haikyuu. People were comparing the two. The first couple yandere fanfictions that were coming out of Haikyuu, people were like, oh,
this reminds me of Stalking. You're just following the part of Stalking you know, I don't see a difference. This is just killing stalking.
I mean, there's even this one story I have in mind right now where there's like a Yamaguchi story, but the title, Woo, is like kind of over him, you know, the pose. You guys know what I'm talking about. Drew over that and like created it where it was like Tsukishima and Yamaguchi. I wanted to throw into this video because I thought it was something I needed to explain a bit better. Killing Stalking obviously is its own series, its own fandom. As we all know, it is a male x male story, sort of a yandere aspect. Definitely not romantic. It is a lovesick story. It is just weird and not something that we should normalize. I feel like because of that, there was, you know, actual like male x male stories going on. People were shipping Kageyama and Hinata, Kageyama and Oikawa, Tsukishima and Yamaguchi. Even with those, they were made like horror fan fiction, but I feel like it was mostly aimed at a ex-reader audience. I'm just throwing this in that it's its own story, so before you guys like try to get mad at me and are like, this is nothing compared, you know, it kind of is. I'm saying it kind of is. That's the end of my little message. You cannot just type in Haikyuu ex-reader story without getting at least one little yandere fan fiction just pop up in your face. Going through my old Wattpad account and seeing how many I saved like to my library of Haikyuu, there are more yandere fan fiction than there are regular. I want to look back at some fan fiction. These stories will be in the description in case you do want to check them out. Some of them have been deleted, but others are still up, I believe. I will try to go back and find these stories, but it might take a while. I just want to talk about some specific scenes in these stories that really just stuck with me to this day. A really good example of this. There was a story where it was a Kageyama ex-reader story. I believe something was also kind of going on with Tsukishima. I think it was Yamaguchi, Tsukishima, Kageyama, and Yu go to like this restaurant. He puts on this like whole play thing and he shuts off the lights. He ends up murdering Tsukishima. Everyone who's there at the table also gets killed. I'm not exactly sure what happens, but what I do remember, Kageyama forces us, can I even say this? We're forced to eat and swallow Tsukishima's eyeball, like from his corpse. He like takes it out. Another thing that happened in that same story, I believe, Kageyama gets the reader pregnant due to rape. Something happens where he gets like pissed off. You guys are like in a fight. Kageyama like comes over and like slits open our stomach and takes out like the literal fetus, just rips it out and he like throws it against the wall. YN obviously is like freaking sobbing. So yeah, there are even other little simple things that traumatized me in a way that it wasn't so bad, but it was just something that stuck with me for a while. One story I read where it was like a Kenma ex-reader story and Kenma decides to make cookies for the reader. I'm sure you can already see where this is going. So the recipe that Kenma is following just happens to say like, the last ingredient you need is love. Of course Kenma's like, love? How can I get love in my cookies? I don't think I have to explain much from there. If you don't get where I'm coming from, sorry, that kind of gave you a hint. That was a hint enough of what I'm talking about. He decides to put his love nectar into the cookie batter and gives the cookies to YN. She eats them. Another part from a story I'll never forget is Kenma like kidnaps you and takes you to this grocery store and like he starts losing it because you're trying to escape and he like pulls his pants down. He's like screaming for you and he's like, YN! YN! And it's like this big thing. Obviously YN is confused as shit. Bro's pants are just down. There's like the lady at the register is like, what the fuck? And it's like, I don't even know. But the first yandere fanfiction I read of Haikyuu is gotta be the most insane. Just to give the quickest summary. It's a Kuru ex-reader story. Story starts out, he's looking for you like on social media. He finds you, starts stalking you, and go in your house, taking things from you, taking like your clothing. And a couple days later, he decides to go to your house and kidnap you. But things go a little crazy because Kuru goes to school one of the days that you're kidnapped inside his house, and Kenma realizes that he left his headphones. Kuru left his headphones on the subway, and Kenma goes to the house to find us. So Kuru kidnaps you and Kenma, and then the whole rest of the story, you go to like a motel, you go to this cafe,
You go to the woods. Towards the end of the story, Kenma gets drowned by Kuru, but tries to gaslight you into thinking that he was never even real. Then there's like this demonic Kenma thing that happens. And then towards the end of the story is when you kind of get the option of the A or B, like leave or escape. The ending that I got was that you run through the forest and you find the police. And the story ends with you at a police station talking to Kuru. And he's like, I'm gonna find you one day, Ryan. And you're like, kill yourself. Can't say that. And he's like, ah! And then it creates this big old thing.
I want to talk about a creator back in 2020 that was very popular with Haikyuu fanfiction. If you know, you know. Like, this is literally one of those, if you know, you know. Was Haikyuuhoeee. A creator who created Haikyuu fanfiction for young adults. I was 13 when I was reading these stories. Those of you who are curious, I am 16 now. They would put so much details and work into their stories. The huge Kuru story that I just explained the entire plot to you was made by Haikyuuhoeee. However, since then, Haikyuuhoeee has disappeared off the face of the earth. You cannot find them. I don't know if they just kind of left their stories in the past. I don't know if they're continuing to do stories. I really have no idea. If you were new to the Haikyuu fandom, you definitely probably figured out about this person at least once or twice. I also just wanted to share for a moment the artwork here on the screen. Now, what was the point of this video? Why did we do this? I wanted to make this video because I feel like it's something that we all remembered and no one talked about. Yes, it was normalized in 2020, but now no one talks about the yandere side of Haikyuu. Such a simple show got tweaked and switched up so fast. People being inspired to write more of the yandere-ness, the most disgusting things about being kidnapped and tortured. But here's the thing, this video is not to get mad at anyone. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, how dare you read this sort of nasty stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. I absolutely loved reading this kind of fan fiction. I thought it was so interesting. It was something different. I couldn't even read just normal Haikyuu fan fiction because I didn't feel the same adrenaline and like rush of emotions. We were in our houses, we were bored. I think I've done enough ranting for today. I don't really know what else to say. There's no point in this video. I just thought it'd be fun to kind of, you know, talk with you guys about this and revisit this side of TikTok and our lives that was just really freaking weird. I really do believe that killing Stalking had a huge impact on how Haikyuu kind of ruined its reputation in a way. I am planning on doing a whole other video just on killing Stalking. You can definitely compare this to Haikyuu fanfiction. It was influenced. That's why we got Yandere fanfiction! But like I said, I think I've done enough ranting. I need to edit this video, get my other video that's gonna come out uploaded, and hopefully everything will go well. I hope you guys had an amazing winter break. I love you all. I'm gonna start doing more videos. Also, I got my nose pierced. It looks kind of nasty right now, but I got my nose pierced. I forgot to mention that earlier. But anyways, I'm gonna head out now. I love you guys, and I will see you guys for the next video. Bye!
You've been in school for 7 minutes. Exactly. Too damn long.